Hi guys, welcome to this video number 177, and as you always know, I try to make these videos as informative as I can, as awesome as I can, and this time for sure this is really something, incredible stuff I'm going to actually present in front of you. And again, it's simply because of the reason that again one of you have asked me a very good question. I really like the question. This email I got it last week from Satish, right, from India, from Tamil Nadu, and this is what he has to say. So basically in this email, in this video, we are going to talk about the how to connect your Outlook with the Outlook email attachments, how to get them exported in any of the a folder of your choice, and also a subject line, specific subject line. Now if you know me through my channel, then obviously you must be asking that that this is something I have already actually downloaded, right? And let me show you the snapshot as well, because this is what my subscriber has sent out as an attachment in the email. This is basically the video number. I really don't remember the video number, but you can search here in my YouTube channel, somewhere here in the category, in the playlist called Outlook, connecting Outlook. Yeah, so there you can go, and this is the video actually I think he has watched, how to save email attachments on desktop, right? So you can watch this video first and then you can go back and watch this video as well, or maybe you can do the reverse as well. It's not going to create any problem. The point what I'm trying to make is, let me quickly read out the question first. So what exactly he's looking forward to is, hi Ajay, this is Satish. I have a question. I need solution with your videos from 161. So video number 161. Oh, I should have read it carefully. So he has mentioned the video number as well. So yeah, so that's what he's talking about, video number 167, connecting Outlook save specific email attachments. So it explained about how connect Outlook and save attachments. So in this video 161, actually I have talked about that if you have a lot of emails in your Outlook folder, and from there you want to save your files. Let's say you have 10 emails and 10 emails have the 10 attachments, then how you can make a program using the VBA. You can automate the things, and with just a button click you can export all the files on your D drive or any C drive, whatever, right? So this is the video which talks about that. Now what he says is, from this I need 4 answers and all are same. My question to you is, you have referred the folder name, subject line, and the file name and the folder path name for saving files by enter directly in coding. Here my requirement is, all these 4 items are in my Excel sheets. The code, it should refer to range A1 for folder name, range 2 for subject line, and likewise, right? Please find attachment. I hope I will get the reply from you as soon as possible. Thanks, Satish. All right, thank you so much for this wonderful question, and indeed it is going to be a great video, I must tell you. So in fact I would have thought of it before you actually emailed me. I would have thought it doing it, making it so on the auto mode, because you see, let me show you this glimpse of this Outlook code. You can go ahead and watch that video, and you'll see. So in this video actually, guys, what happened, we were looking for a subject called strategy meeting. So if you have, let's say, this subject line, strategy meeting, and then your file, that email contains this file, which is, the file name is, you can see here, it's actually date format, then it is supposed to be saved in the D drive. You can see here, attachment.save as file D drive. Now what he's saying is, he's saying that I have everything, I have written in the code, but what if tomorrow I want to change the subject line, I want to change the D drive, let it be F drive, let it be E drive, let it be desktop, and I also want to change the file name. So instead of me going in the VBA window, this is the VBA window, right? You must be knowing this if you know the basics of the VBA. This is where exactly I had written the code and shared with you guys. So now he is saying that let's make it on the Excel. Let's get this controlled directly by the Excel. So he's given me a suggestion, not a suggestion, I mean, he in fact has said that this is what he wants. He wants that here he is going to write all the stuff, and accordingly the Outlook should behave, right? So that's a great thing. We can do that. We can control the Outlook from the Excel as well. So let's go ahead and let's create this code quickly, right? Okay, so the first thing I will do is So we have 4 categories, guys. We have 4 things we need to take care of it, right? You can write it any order. I'm gonna write it here. Let's say the first thing I will write here is subject line of mail, right? So whatever email you have in your folder, let me show you this with the example of this Outlook. Now let's say you have a folder here called Ajay, and these are the subject lines. So here we want to see that, let's say any email which has a hello world, hello world, it should actually pick that email. And then after picking that email, it should go in that email and opens that email. Obviously you will not see the email is getting opened, but in VBA, in the virtual memory, I mean, the email gets opened and we see that what is the attachment, what is the Excel file, the name of the file. So let's say we want to say that if it contains VLOOKUP word, then immediately import that file in my D drive or C drive. So that's what we are going to do, right? All right, so now let's start this. So I'm going to go back on the Excel. This is where I will write my subject line of the email. So let's say we want to find the hello world as we decided. Okay, the second thing which I want to do is attachment file name, which is saved in that, which comes through that email to you, right? So file name, you can give any name. Let me go back and see what file name we can give. So I'm gonna give it maybe, let's say a VLOOKUP word, right? So let's say any file, any email which has a subject line called hello, and further to that, if it has a attachment called VLOOKUP, the name contains VLOOKUP. So it could be in the beginning, it could be in the middle, it could be in the end, wherever it should pick that file, right? Where it is going to save. So save destination. Let me write this. So I'm going to make this, let's say D drive. Okay, you can write whatever you want to write. And what else is left? We got the subject covered, we got the file name, and we got the destination as well, right? Let me read out the question again. I don't want to skip anything. He said 4 things actually. So folder, oh yeah, folder name, very important. How could I miss that? Folder name. So where is your Outlook folder? Very interesting. So let's say my folder is, as you know, under this inbox, the folder name is Ajay. So this is where I'm going to test the file. If you want to test it on the inbox, you can simply keep it on the inbox as well. But generally, in practical life, you really like to create the folders for different things, right? It's not that everything you keep on this inbox. Inbox is not basically your junk, right? You like to divide it. Inbox is basically to see what mails you're getting, and then further you can put them in the correct slots by making your own folders, right? I mean, this is how I do. Not sure how you guys actually do, but again, the purpose is to make yourself comfortable. When you're searching anything, you should be able to know that where exactly you're supposed to search, right? So so this is the folder Ajay. I'm gonna write this Ajay folder here. There we go. So now we need to make our program depending upon all these outputs, right? And one thing more I want to tell you, because if function in VBA is a case sensitive, so remember your hello world, the subject line should exactly have the same syntax. Like this is a hello word, you can see it's in the lowercase. So if I'm gonna write here like this or like this, it is not going to capture. Now that's a different thing, that we can capture all the kind of things by taking their uppercase or by taking their lowercase and everything. I mean, that can be done, but I'm just telling you that when we're going to write the if function, I will be very careful in writing the subject line. All right, so now this let's go to the developer tab. Let me go to the Visual Basic environment, and here I'm going to insert the new module. I'm going to start it from the scratch. Okay, so now I'm going to use couple of classes in Outlook, and as I said in the beginning, if you know me by my channel, you would have seen all those 7-8 powerful videos on the connectivity with the Outlook application from Excel, and there I have talked really in a very great detailed manner that what kind of a classes you're supposed to use. So maybe after watching this video, or maybe you can pause this and go back to those videos, and you can see the video number, as I was telling you, the video number I think 161. Yeah, so there I talked actually in detail that what are the classes and how basically which class we are going to use for which purpose, right? So let's quickly go ahead and let's prepare the code. So the first thing which I'm going to do is I'm going to use this early binding method. Again, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, the early binding, no problem. You can, later after watching this video, you can go back to those videos and you can see. Early binding is just nothing but just providing the reference in the beginning so that your VBA should know that which library you're going to use. Like in this case, we are going to use the Outlook. So I have a Outlook 2010. So if I use the Outlook 2010, by default I would be seeing this Microsoft Outlook 14.0 version. If you have Outlook let's say 2013, then you would see here 15.0. If you have a 16, which is a recent version launched by the Microsoft, then you would see here 16.0, right? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just need to click here on the Outlook version. Okay, and if you don't see this right now, I have check marked this, but generally when you open this, these are the 4 by default libraries. So you have to search for the Microsoft Outlook. Just press F and scroll it down and go to the tab where you start seeing the Microsoft Outlook, which means Microsoft and then O. It's alphabetically sorted, so it will help you a lot, right? So there we go. So this is where your Microsoft Outlook should appear, right? And then you just need to click there, check mark it, and automatically it will come on the top just after your Microsoft Office library, right? So this is, I'm going to click OK. Without this you can't use this Outlook code, remember guys, right? Okay, so we're going to write here Outlook email save. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to define that I'm going to deal with the Outlook object, and this is how you write dim outlook as outlook.application. Now the word outlook.application is very important. You see this word because you have given the reference in the library. If you don't check mark that library, you won't be seeing this word coming out, right? And the code cannot be prepared. So that's the first thing. Outlook is just a variable. You can use your name, anything, whatever, so I'm going to write now set Outlook as new outlook.application. With the help of this code, my Outlook gets activated. The executable file is going to get activated, and the next thing now I want to use is I'm going to use this mail item class. So this is what I will write: omail as outlook.mail item, set omail equals to we are going to create this outlook dot create item, and we are going to use the omail item. Right now, if I show you this snapshot from the video number 167, which Satish has forwarded me, you see the entire code remains same almost. Like for example, this is what I've created, these 4 lines, and then now these 2 lines I'm going to create again. I'm going to write here again outlook.namespace and outlook.get namespace, and then we will do the comparison. You will understand basically what changes we are going to bring this, in order to make it more dynamic, in order to make it controlled from the Excel sheet, which is sheet 1, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is, because I need to deal with the folder, as you know, I've said that you need to go to the folder Ajay, which is a part of this my Outlook, which is called this. So when you deal with the folders, obviously you need to write here, you need to make a use of a class called namespace. So this is what I'm going to do: O space, just a name, you can give whatever name you want to give, namespace, and then set my O space equals to Outlook get namespace. These are the standard lines, and then MAIPI. Okay, and now this is the most important line: how I'm going to define my folder. That's the important thing, right? So in this case, what I'm going to do is look at this line. FOL is outlook.folder, and then set FOL equals to get default folder, and in the folder inbox I have a folder called Ajay. But this time I do little variation in this line. Instead of making it Ajay, I will simply say range a4.value. Simple, right? So there we go. Now let's start this. So this is my folder. Let's say my folder as Outlook folder. I'm gonna write it folder, and then set my FOL equals to, so now O space is going to give me that folder. That's why we use this namespace class, because from there you can actually get the this folder, right? So we'll say that folder get default folder. Now the folder by default is obviously going to be inbox, but then further the next folder which we are going to write is going to be range a4.value. This is what I'm going to write, right? So let me close this. Right now, remember, if you're on the sheet 1, making sure that you should be on the sheet 1 before running this, because if you are going to be on the sheet 3, then in the sheet 3 we have this range a4 as empty, so it will not work, right? So we will create the button here. So obviously, whenever user will click on the button, because he has to run the macro, he should be on the sheet 1. So by default that thing is going to be taken care of. Or otherwise you can also write like this, sheets, and then you can write the sheet name sheet 1 dot range a4 value. It's all up to you. You can also write there. In that way, no matter wherever you are, whichever sheet you have selected, it will pick the value whatever you have written in the sheet 1, right? Okay, so what is the next thing I want to do? Now my folder part is completed. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to run a loop in this folder, and I want to say that check every email in my Ajay folder and see that if the attachment contains VLOOKUP word, right? So this is how we are going to write for each. I will write omail and my folder is my folder dot items. Next, so if I run this loop right now, let me show you. Message box omail dot name subject. Now let us run this code. There we go. I'm pressing F8, by the way, if you don't know. That's the shortcut key to run the code step by step. Okay, there we go. All right, you can see the first name subject line is testing. Remember these words: today's status, dashboard, hi everybody, hello, attachment 1, access course, again hello, strategy meeting, next, and that's it. Okay, now we need to see if we are correct on this part or not. Right now, let's just look back at the code. So you see these are all the names which popped up just few seconds back. So we are on the correct path, right? So if I'm going to now I'll talk about this little later. First of all, let's cover the rest of the topic. So we are able to run this loop in every email, whichever email we have in this Ajay folder. It's getting accessed by this VBA. So now what we need to do is, the next thing we need to do you have a subject line called, does your subject cover contains this hello world? So we're going to write like this: if omail dot subject like, you use the like button to say that it contains. So, and you got to put the star, because any word can come after and before hello, because we are saying that it should contain hello world, right? So this is how we concatenate it with this hello world. And again star means any character, there's no limit to that, any characters can come, right? So if you have a hello world, then what you need to do, then go and check in that email that what is your attachment name. So we have to declare one more class, which is atmt as attachment. Okay, this is what I have described here. So the next thing I would say is, if attachment dot file name contains the word called VLOOKUP, right? So I'm going to write here again, it contains, so just put this again in the quotes, join it with the VLOOKUP and star. Okay, so if attachment also contains this VLOOKUP word, then what is the next step we need to do? Then the next step we need to do is we need to save that attachment. So I'm going to save that, save as file name. Now what is the path? You know the path, right? In my previous video we showed here that the path has to be D drive, and in the D drive the file which we are supposed to save is the name of the file itself, right? That's not a big math, it's a very easy thing. But here now what we are going to do is, we are again going to, instead of writing the D drive, we are going to write here range A3. So whatever you write in that, it will take that value from there. So I'm going to say A3, okay, dot value, and then at the end the file name, whatever the file name we have, right? All right. And if it is not the case, what if you don't have a VLOOKUP word in that attachment? Then simply go to the next thing, else and if, do nothing. So I'm going to say here, do nothing. It is not required, I'm just commenting it out, but so that you should be able to understand the code. So I'm going to say and if, right? And of course this is also the outer if. You also need to work on this. So if your subject line doesn't contain hello world, then obviously you don't have to go to the attachment and you got to see that what file name we have got in there. Obviously none of our business. If you are not a hello world, if your subject line is not a hello, then let's just pass that email. So that's the big if. So here I'm gonna write that if, else do nothing. Okay, and if. All right, so I guess we are good on that. Let's just quickly check all the things. So we have hello and we have a VLOOKUP. Let me find out the attachment name, the VLOOKUP one. So yeah, so there we go. So VLOOKUP, it's V is capital, right? So maybe, I mean, let's just do one thing. We can also put the OR condition as well here. You can say that either this VLOOKUP or the VLOOKUP like this, where you have a V capital. You can do that. There's no problem in that, right? So right now I'm just going to make this the capital one, right? Okay. Right. So I think the code is ready. We can start this code. Let me just start it from the beginning. Okay. So let us start this code, and you can pause this video later at this point in time after watching, and you can write the code. So now let us start the code. Okay, there we go. All right, so the first subject line we need to see. What is the first subject line? It's testing. So it doesn't contain hello world, so definitely it should pass this email, ignore this line, so it should go to the else part. There we go, it goes to the else part, and if. And then what is the next line in the subject line? Today's status. Obviously I'm not interested in you, right? So again I press F8 and I'm on the else. What is the next thing? Daily dashboard. I'm not interested. All right, what is the next thing? Hi everybody. Well, you say hi, but I want hello, right? So let's just ignore this as well. There we go. Okay, now there we go. Now we got the point. So we have a hello world. So this hello world actually is there, and now it should go to the if attachment, the next line, instead of going to the else. Let's see. Oh yes, we got it. Now what is the attachment file name? This is what we need to see, right? So now all right, so I see here an error which says that if attachment dot file name, which is not coming up here, right? So obviously I will get the error. I understand the thing actually, and let me explain you. Now what happened, basically you need to run a one more loop here, right? Because you're saying that if your email contains a hello world, then you need to see the attachment as well. So for that we need to write here a loop, which I forgot to write, but that's fine. I mean, we can modify the code that now check for every attachment, right? For every attachment. So here there's a one more collection loop which you're going to write for each atmt n omail.attachment, right? And then so now this, what it would do is this would basically be responsible for your running the loop in all the attachments one by one, because what happens, maybe your email can have 2 attachments, 3 attachments. In this email there was just every email, I mean, if you look at it, they have just 1 attachment, but you can have more attachments as well, right? So that's why it's good to write for each attachment so that it can check one by one in all the Excel files. So let me just click no. Okay, so we're gonna write here this obviously in the next I have to write the next word as well. So this is, let me put some indenting here. There we go. All right, let me reset the code again. So I guess now this looks much better. This is going to be if, just give me 1 second, I'm going to put the indenting, and there we go. Yeah, let me maximize the things. I think this looks nice. So for each attachment in that email attachments, check out for all those attachments, right? Okay, so now let's start this. There we go. Okay, the first subject is testing. Obviously the loop will not go in the next line. Again, the next line is today's status, so it is going on the else mode. Let me check again. It's a daily dashboard. No, you're not gonna work here. And then let's check hi everybody. Of course not, else. Now let's see the next part. Hello world is there. Now there we go. So let's now execute this line. Now there we go. There we go, guys. You see that here you have got the file name now, advanced VLOOKUP file. Now I did a mistake here. Instead of making this VLOOKUP word, obviously we have to link it with the word which user is going to write in this Excel file, VLOOKUP, right? So I'm going to write here range A2. Okay, so range A2 is what I'm going to write, dot value, and I guess we are doing fine. So you know this file contains VLOOKUP word, right? So it should definitely go and save this file in the D drive. So I'm gonna open my D drive as well at the same time, so that we can see that if it is imported there or not, exported there or not, I beg your pardon. So you can see this is my D drive right now. Okay, so you don't have anything here. So let's just run this code. Okay, there we go. So it captures the VLOOKUP, that's why it is in the then mode. So now we should run this and we should be able to see the file here. Oh, there you go. You can see, guys, the file is exported there. Wonderful. All right, let's go now. Next, what is the next subject line? It is attachment 1, so it should go to the else part. And if next, what is the next line? Access course else. And then again, this is one more. So one more file I have, one more email I have got, hello. So this time let's see what is the attachment file name. So this time it's advanced -VLOOKUP, and then you know we have some name here. So this should also be coming here because this file also contains VLOOKUP word. All right, there we go. Yes, it picked up, and now we should be able to see here. There we go. Yes, we got it. All right, so now what is the next subject line? It's strategy. Now that's not the area of my area of interest, so it goes to the else part, and then next, and then finish. Wonderful. So we got the VLOOKUP files here, and this is what I think Satish was looking forward to, and this is what I'm sure after seeing this video you would be just not going to wait even for a second, and you're going to make this program, because I know we guys, when we work on the MIS, so you are in analytics field, Excel is a tool which we all use a lot, and when we use the Excel at the same time we also use the Outlook, so you can this way connect a lot of things. Now before I wrap up this video, I'm going to test this in front of you, right, and let us check that if we have gotten correct or not by changing some values, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to D drive to, let's say, my desktop, not the desktop, but I'll create a folder here in the D drive. Let's say I'm gonna go in the April folder, right? So this is my folder. Let me copy this and let me just put it here. Okay, there we go. All right, that's the first thing I'm gonna do. The second thing is I keep this my folder as okay, let's just change the folder as well. So what I'm gonna do is let me copy them and move them to maybe a folder called compile. Okay, so let's see, we got in the compile folder here, and do we have the files? Yes, so I have all the files available here. Okay, so that's the second thing I'm going to do. I'll name it as compile folder. Okay, let's change the subject line as well. So this time let's say you can keep it maybe testing. All right, so testing is the word. I'm going to copy it from here. You can also write it just to save the time. So I'm going to write here testing. Make sure about the spellings, and in case if you want to test it with all the words like related to testing, as I already said, that testing, or maybe this testing, or maybe this one, then you just need to write the if condition with the or. Use simple if and or. If you don't know how to use the if with the or, just go on my channel or on my website, which is excelvblover.com. If you're watching this for the first time, that's my website. go in this tutorial, VBA training, VBA video tutorials, and there you will see the videos on the if functions, right? Okay, so what is the next thing? So let's say cost is the subject I'm looking forward to. So I'm going to write here cost, right? Okay, so now let us run this. So, and I'm going to delete my previous files from the D drive. That's fine, it is not required because we have April folder. So first of all, my files should come here, and which all files I need. I think that's the only subject line testing. So we should be able to see this 24 cost benefit analysis here. You know, this file here. I got this file a long time back, I think, from the Chandu website. Very remarkable personality in the Excel world. Okay, so now let us just run this. Okay, I'm gonna run this. Let me run this quickly. Okay, the program ran. Let's see the output. Okay, so we haven't got the output. That's very sad. Let me refresh it. No. So, alright, so we have to see now what is wrong with the code, right? Neither it stored in the D drive, I just saw. Okay, so let's just quickly check. I'm going to check my folder name again. It's compile, compile, yes, and this folder is also correct. Okay, so let's run this step by step. Okay, so when you have these kind of issues, you know, code doesn't work. Obviously you can't track it in the F5 mode, so you need to press F8. Now let's go ahead and check. So what is the first email I'm looking forward to is testing. Yeah, so the testing is there. Okay, so it should go to the, oh, there we go. That's the problem. That's the problem, because I did one very stupid thing. I written here hello. I should have written here I'm sorry, I should have written here actually A1 cell, right? Okay, right. Previously it ran because my this hello world which I wrote here, it was exactly the same which I written in the VBA code, but this time it didn't work. Okay, so now let's just run this again. Okay, there we go. So now we have a subject testing. It should pick this now. Yes, it picked up. Great. So what is the file name? It's 24 cost benefit analysis. So it should contain what? The value which we have stored in the A2, which is cost. So there we go. Yes. And where it is going to save the file? Obviously in the D drive, and you can see here in the D drive range A3, I have written D folder April, and so it should save the file there. All right, so let me quickly press F5 now. The code is finished. Let's quickly go to the April folder, and yes, we got the file here, right? So let's just delete this, and if I'm gonna change this to, let's say, anything else, let's say costing. Now if I run this, nothing should happen. We should not be able to see the file. Let me just rerun the program. All right, the program I ran, and let's go back to the April folder. So there we go. We don't have any such file stored there, right? Okay, so I think now it makes a lot of sense. This code actually works, and this is how you can prepare this, you can automate this. Any user can control this. Don't forget to create the button here. Just go to the insert and shape, so that whenever the user has to run this code, he has to click here on this button, and this button will always be available on your sheet 1, so the issue which I was talking about, that will never come, right? So just right here, run whatever you want, and then go right click and go to the assign macro, and in the assign macro you need to give basically the the code name. So I click here OK, and now if I write here cost back, and here I just write D drive, let me modify this as well. Now if I run this, all right, the code ran, and if we go back to this D drive, we should be able to see the file 24 cost benefit analysis. So this is there, the code works, right? All right, so I like to take a leave now, and I'm leaving you with this interesting thing. Just pause the video and you can see all this code, and you can copy this, right? And let me know in case if you have any difficulties in operating this code. I will definitely get back to you on this. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do that, right? So stay happy and have a very, very happy learning. Thank you so much. Bye bye.